1 big battery, 9 hoverstones, 10 rockets. Send your house into the sky like so, and tell Grante-san that you are done. If that's all you needed to know, goodbye video retention rate.
But if you want to know some secrets, or if Grante-san is giving you sass, or you're missing rooms you wanted to keep, or are a perfectionist, stick around.
First order of business. Do you want a floating house? The only real benefit is having more space in your yard for building and experimentations. Overall, it's a novelty, an inconvenient one. You have to actually get up there each time you want to visit your house. You can't have it float at a low or medium distance off the ground.
Present day editing Kleric here. Actually, you can. I found a way. But it's a much less stable method, so let's get through this first.
The top of your house needs to be this high up for it to work. Taller houses will reach lower, but generally you're not going to be getting up there without burning some resource or time. Being this high up though, Tulin's vow is able to spawn, meaning he gets to have a bird bath. So now that you know why you want a floating house, let's understand Grante-san's regulations.
Any house unit poking outside of the building area's ropes isn't accepted, because it's not safe for some reason. Anything inside the building area that is not a house unit will be asked to be removed before he'll let you start or finish building. In this case, it's because there's a cricket inside the building area. And if any house unit moves too much when you ask to be done, he will declare it too unsteady to be finalized. Man, what the hell? What about this is unsteady?
Alright, now that we know our limitations, let's go over the goal here. To achieve a floating house, we need to lift up the house from its center of gravity with a device that is outside the building area, with the rest of your desired house hanging below. Trying this from the sides is nearly impossible because of the over-the-ropes regulation, but there's no issue with the house units overlapping with the top border of the building area. Any house unit that is fully outside the building area will be put away, meaning we'll have to sacrifice at least 1 or 2 rooms to achieve this. It's likely that you will have to wait a specific amount of time so that the hoverstones sink down far enough that the rooms you wanted to keep don't get put away. But not wait so long that the hoverstones are back in bounds of the building area. Now for starters, go build your home. But Kleric, I already have a house.
Oh, that thing? Honey, we need to work on that. First things first, we're gonna be redesigning. We can't have your Grante-san running around trying to get into all the walls. It's just not safe. Put a wing on his head to make him stop. Good boy. Now about that. Your house doesn't need to be a brutalist fortress. Nobody is breaking in, Thorin, son of Thrain. Open it up and let it breathe. Don't make a box, think outside the box. Half connections allow for a hallway of multiple rooms, instead of capping each side of the house with just one. Reconsider the rooms you're keeping around. Statue of Hylia? You don't need her anymore. Bailia? You do not need this many pictures of Pura. You might not know it, but not all rooms need to be straight or upright. They can be any orientation you feel like. These rooms lose their functionality if they're even slightly tilted, but everything else is fair game. Maybe have your most valuable weapons be displayed on the top shelf, or hide it away as a secret ascend room. Or flip your staircase upside down and tuck your flower bed or garden pond under it. You should do something unique. Girl, now you're home. Let's prepare to launch it. We need to lift the house up at the top near its center of gravity. It's usually easy to just know where, but if you're unsure, you can find it by balancing your house on something, like a hoverstone staked to the ground, and ascending up to see where on the roof that is. We'll be lifting the house up by a room we need to sacrifice. If you've got something you can hang it off of in the right spot, 2x2 rooms are good for this. If your roof is kind of flat, you can use a tilted 1x1 or 1x2 room as a handle to lift it up by. Once your house is set up for launch, go ahead and tell Grante-san that you're done and save your game. You'll want something to reload if things don't go quite right, of course. Start building again, and put together your 9 hoverstones, 10 rockets, and big battery. There are many ways you can set them up, but ideally you want the hoverstones to cover the bottom of the handle as much as possible, evenly distribute the rockets across the hoverstones and battery, have each rocket point straight up, and the whole device doesn't tilt or fall over when at rest. At this point in time, I'd like you to make note of what floor the handle is on, the room you're lifting up the house by. When we lift up the house, this will determine how long you should wait before talking to Grante-san to finalize the house. The weight of the house is also important, but these wait times should cover most 15-room houses. Every house unit has a mass of 5,000, except for flower beds, which have a mass of 500. But anyway, when lifting up a 15-room house that isn't made of a lot of flower beds, here's how long you should be waiting with a ground floor handle. What are you doing? There's not going to be any house left. First floor handle. It's kind of weird, but +1 rocket and wait 5 seconds. Second floor handle, wait 11 seconds. Third floor handle, wait 42 seconds. And fourth floor handle, wait 73 seconds. Now all you gotta do is shoot the device, jump off before Grante-san yells at you for leaving the area, and once the rockets finish, wait for the house to sink low enough that all of your desired house is in the building area, while the hoverstones are not. My house's handle is on the second floor, so I just have to wait around 11 seconds. If Grante-san is telling you there's still something in the building area, you waited too long, or just left some object in the building area. And if he keeps saying it's unsteady, make sure you're carrying the house from the center of gravity, and if that's not enough, you may need to re-glue your house to be more structurally sound. Keep in mind that you're not able to make closed loops with ultra-hand structures. Typically, the open end will end up at the top of the house, the handle, which is the worst place for it to be. Re-gluing the house from the top down should put the open end at the bottom, which is better. If you're unable to fix these warnings even with these tips, maybe experiment with adding an extra rocket or hoverstone. And I think that's enough information to ensure that you get this setup done right. Let's get back to the present. The method I discovered will allow you to have your house float at a medium height and is less likely to be slightly tilted. Do you have a lot of patience? Because it requires incredible precision. Also, medium house heights won't allow Tulin's Vow to take a bird bath. So sad. There's 2 things I noticed that Grante-san doesn't mind being in the building area. Arrows, which don't help us, and bees! If you've seen my spicy weapons video, I went over quantum bees, which are simply bees that we aren't looking at. Besides not ever leaving when we don't look at them, they also get Herculean strength. They can lift up anything as long as you aren't looking at them, including your house. The only problem is that they have 0 friction. They got butterfingers, so the house is likely to slide off of them. This requires us to be incredibly precise to have a chance of this working. Here's the setup I had the most luck with. Find the center of gravity of your house. Make note of where it is on top of the house. Lift the house up from the bottom all the way up for 30 seconds without moving it. If you want your house to be at the maximum height of ascend, do this on top of a 2-story structure. Maybe borrow a part of your house for this. Drop it down and reattach the structure you stood on if it's part of your house. Get on the house, recall it, go to the center of gravity spot, and make note of the coordinates for the center of gravity. Get off the house, recall it again, and stand in those coordinates. Recall the house again to reset its timer, and shoot 4 coarser bee honeys up at the house as high as possible with a single-shot bow. 1 for every 90-degree turn. Line up the edges of the house to be parallel with the bottom of the screen to help. Pick up the coarser bee honey. Cancel recall, and then quickly talk to Grante-san. Say that you are done, and he will likely tell you that it is unsteady. Tell him you want to keep building, and on this dialogue, spam A to talk to him again as quickly as possible. Say that you are done again. If you were extremely precise with standing beneath the center of gravity of the house, and shooting 4 coarser bees 90 degrees apart, the house will be finalized. But chances of that are low. He's very likely to tell you it's unstable again, and you will probably have to retry. A lot. But hey, it's nice when it finally works. The only other thing I have worth sharing about houses is if you cover up a portion of your garden pond with another, with a precise ragdoll, you can drown in them. Maybe it'll be useful for glitches later on, who knows. Thank you for watching all the way through, and sorry for the wait. My hyper-focus has shifted, so working on this became an almost impossible task for my brain. Though I'll figure out something for next time, maybe. See you then! Now's your chance to fuse it!
What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do anything funny.
Never mind, we're going back to the depths. Turn the minecart into a car. Use the control stick over here